Monday night, welcome back to the countdown with Dean Kirk. I'm going to try to get my engines revved up and warmed up as I get into the top 10. We are in the top 10 of this fancy playlist. There's so many top 40 extras on this fancy playlist too, as you can see on the back. And I'm hoping that I can get to a couple of them before I get to the number one song. But song number 10, up 12 from 22, the first single off the Bad album, Michael Jackson. Excuse me. Oh boy, my voice gets easily strained when I put on my DJ voice. I had to add some echoes on this video. Well, anyway, Michael Jackson, I Can't Stop Loving You. He does that song with a woman named Seda Garrett, or Syed is Saida, or I'll just go with Seda. I came across a couple of pronunciations of her first name. Now, on this record, she wasn't the first choice. Barbra Streisand and Whitney Houston, they were the first choice, but they turned it down. They turned down the chance to do a duet with Michael Jackson. Now, this whole thing came as a surprise to Syed Garrett. We're going to go into the recording studio. We're going to go right there in the recording studio with Michael. That's right, with the king of pop himself. Here's the deal. Here's what happened. Syed Garrett, she had no idea that she was going to do a duet with Michael Jackson. Now, Quincy Jones, the producer of the Bad album, he also produced Thriller, as you probably know. Quincy Jones gave Syed Garrett a tape of the song. He wanted her to learn it. The tape of the song, I Can't Stop Loving You. He wanted her to learn it. Now, Syed Garrett wasn't thinking, okay, he wants me to do a duet. Rather, she thought maybe he wanted her to do a demo of the song, because she did a lot of demos for Quincy Jones. So it wasn't a big deal. She thought she was going to do a demo. So she lays down the background vocals of Man in the Mirror in the recording studio, another song off the album which went to number one. She co-wrote the song with Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. Now, when she got done with that, somewhere down the road, Quincy Jones gave her a call. He said, come back to the studio. We need you to do some more work. Syed Garrett, she goes to the recording studio, and there's only Michael and Quincy there. That's it. They were working on the song I Can't Stop Loving You. And Quincy Jones, he turns to Syed Garrett. Now, she has no idea what's going to happen. All this is going to come as a complete surprise to her. So Quincy Jones, he asked her, you got the tape, right? Did you learn the song? Did you learn the song on the tape? And she said, sure I did. Sure I learned the song. And Quincy Jones goes, well, go in there and sing it. Now, there were a couple of booths. She went into one of the booths, or maybe it was one booth with two music stands. Well, there were two music stands in there. Michael was at one of the music stands. He was standing behind one of the music stands with a microphone in front of him. And she got behind another music stand, and there was a microphone in front of her, and the lyric sheets was laid out. The parts were laid out on the sheets. There was a part she saw the parts. She saw Sienna, or Seda, Michael. They would sing separate parts. And when she saw those parts, it dawned on her, this is going to be the real deal. This is going to be a duet. Oh, my goodness. But here's another thing. There's another element to this story. A lot of people don't know this about Michael, and I'm glad I found this out. Michael Jackson had a sense of humor, but now he had to get comfortable around a person. Seda Garrett, she was not one who hero rushed. She was not one who was in awe of Michael. It was like, whoa, yo, Michael, what's up, man? How you doing? You know, that sort of thing. And Michael found that refreshing. He liked that. He got comfortable with Sienna, and that sense of humor started to surface. Sometimes when Syed Garrett and Quincy Jones are involved, when they would get into a serious conversation about a song or something, Michael Jackson would get some peanuts and just throw them at him. To kind of lighten up the mood. I mean, they'll be talking, there'll be a cashew or a peanut flying right past them. And here's the thing, even though this is a powerful record, let it be known that Michael Jackson was a powerful vocalist. He sounds downright disconsolate. depressed on this record. But it turns out that when they recorded it, they didn't take it that seriously. Both of them did. When Seda was doing her part, was singing her part, Michael Jackson was standing there making faces at her. And she would just crack up and mess up. And Quincy Jones, he's behind the production board or whatever. He's like, Seda, hurry up! You're holding up the album. Get with it. And she was getting in trouble, and Michael was just making all these faces every time she'd do her part. And that is a great human interest story right there in the recording studio with the King of Pop. How about that? Song went to #1, of course, Michael Jackson's I Can't Stop Loving You. There were 5 #1 singles from the Bad album, and that's it. There is something else I want to mention, though, but let me look it over. Another interesting tidbit about Michael Jackson I want to bring up with you. Let's make that part 2. End of part 1. Welcome to part 2 of the video of the Michael Jackson, I Can't Stop Loving You, coming in on this fantasy playlist at number 10. Whoa, jumped this baby way up from 22. Want to bring Sheryl Crow into this just for a few minutes. Sheryl Crow, I remember back in the spring and summer of 1994 when Sheryl Crow, she came out with those scintillating records, Leaving Las Vegas. Remember that black and white video in the spring of 94 when MTV was playing it? And then I was absolutely blown away the first time I heard All I Want to Do, which I heard off of Hitline, one of Music's top 40 outlet. And it was a brilliant record. And then I found out that she sang backup for Michael Jackson. And indeed, she sang backup she was a backup singer for Michael Jackson on his 1987 tour. Not only that, but at times she sang the duet with him on this record, I Can't Stop Loving You. She'd get up there and sing with him this duet to the point where people were thinking that there might be some kind of chemistry going on between the two, although it was purely professional. At least that's what I take from reading about it. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. Sheryl Crow was picked because she had all-American looks. Woman from, I believe she's from the Midwest. All-American looks. You pair an attractive, an innocuous, innocent-looking woman with Michael. Michael would look more normal. Because I'm sure you remember the tabloids were just, oh God, they were just all over the place about Michael Jackson's eccentricities. Therefore, his handlers thought that Michael would look a bit more, would just look more normal singing with, well, Sheryl Crow, somebody innocent looking, attractive, innocent looking woman. And that's all I got to say about that. So, pretty interesting, huh? Sure is. Michael Jackson, I Can't Stop Loving You, with Seda Garrett, or Seda Garrett. Either way, the song is at number 10 on my fantasy playlist, or was at number 10 on my fantasy playlist, August 29th, 1987.